This video will be the final video in the series of combat tests, showing off combat for Digital World Stories against the varying types of NPC Digimon. With this video's release, I will also be releasing the necessary information to build these NPC Digimon. So I'd like to take a brief moment before we get into combat to show that off. What we have here is my NPC builder spreadsheet. It has the basics of creating a character and filling out information for them. The traits list is here. You will see that having just watched the Elite test, you should be able to recognize Leomon and Ogamon's abilities, just looking at their screen. And for this test, which is using the Epic template instead of Elite, we have Devimon. Here are Devimon's traits. We will talk more about them as the battle goes on. But what you will be getting is this basic spreadsheet and this Google Doc outlining the means to build an NPC character and stat them accordingly for combat. The only thing we haven't really seen is the Grunt Digimon template. That's something that I still need to do more testing on my own. But for the most part, the balance is set to my understanding that the standard, elite, and epic templates are ready to go. So, by the time you're looking at this video, you will be able to look up this document under the Google Drive for Digital World Stories and start building your own NPC Digimon. And by this means, you will be able to run your own campaigns. I hope that you do. Let's get stuck in to combat. Turn order begins with Birdramon. Birdramon's goal is to get everyone moving forward ASAP, and so she is going to move 1, 2, up into the air above Mimi, and is going to spend an energy for Red Sun immediately. That's going to put 3 buffs on everyone. If I could click right. Did you know if you press a number over one of these icons, it puts the number on the icon? It's so great. And because of the shift property of Red Sun, I can also move all 3 of these guys forward. We'll push Joe and Koshiro towards the forest. We'll just get everyone moving towards the forest. Technically, the humans all have buffs as well, but I'm not marking them because I know they're not going to attack. Sora doesn't have a whole lot to do in this opening turn, but what she is going to do is move to join the others and put up a guard action just because. Guard involves 3 armor, so I'll put a 3 on top of that. Devimon is here to cause problems. Devimon has a number of attacks and traits and is going to start by immediately making some moves. 1, 2... We've reached within 6 of a Kakumon, which means Devimon is now going to use Come Hither as a light attack action. Knowing this is a light attack, because I do believe it's right for the GM to announce when something is a light attack or an attack action, Kabuterimon isn't going to take the inner seed here, because whatever a light attack is, it's fine. Devimon's light attack action is 3d6 because Devimon has +1 advantage to all rolls currently. So on a 3d6 plus 6, we successfully target Ikakumon with Come Hither, reach 3, pull 3, 1, 2, 3. Ikakumon has been brought in. This sucks for Ikakumon, who wants to be at a 5 range to be able to use good attacks. Devimon has moved and used a light attack action. However, one of Devimon's traits grants it a free light attack action. I should point out that another of Devimon's traits is that all successful attacks inflict debuff 3, which is going to cancel out these buffs. Very sad. Devimon is now going to target Ikakumon with Hand of Death, which reaches 3. This one, Kabuterimon, is going to take the time to use its reaction to move for. Move to gain adjacency to Ikakumon, becomes registered as the target, affected by pull. 1, 2, pulled adjacent, successful attack hits you, you lost your buffs, and you take 2d6 plus 3 damage from Hand of Death. 9, Kabuterimon has 3 armor naturally, 6 damage. Devimon has used 2 actions as well as its free light action. It has moved only 2 units, I believe, so could do some more moves and is going to. We started here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Has gained adjacency with Ikakumon and Kabuterimon both, completing Devimon's movement. And then we will use Devimon's other light attack action, which is called Knight's Cloak. This will be a 3d6 plus 6 to successfully hit and inflict slow 3 on both Ikakumon and Kabuterimon. And since this was a successful attack, that's debuff 3. Unfortunate, but that's what Devimon does. That is its opening turn. Kabuterimon is up. Kabuterimon's goal is to defend allies. And so Kabuterimon will be taking the guard action right away, which also applies to adjacent allies because of the Living Fortress property. Because we're doing guard, we cannot use an attack action because guard and attack actions do not work on the same turn. So I'm not going to worry about the debuffs already. What Kabuterimon is interested in doing in this situation would be spending an energy to regenerate 6 health to keep topped up and ready to intercede damage and cut off Devimon. That's Kabuterimon's turn. Koshiro is going to take the scan action, given that Kabuterimon is adjacent to Devimon. And the scan action learns the first of Devimon's traits. The darkness of Devimon clings to you each time you suffer its attacks. Cleanse the darkness with light, its opposite, at its source. Koshiro is going to think on that. This is a case where player characters can ask further questions and make further checks to better understand ways to approach traits. What I've said is what I've said. I'll even copy the text right here. This is the first of Devimon's traits. Koshiro is going to think on this and try and figure out a means to oppose that. And so Koshiro will be making a digital check to try and understand the digital world. This will be a 4d6 because you have the digital skill, plus 6, though I will not put either aspect to this. I don't think either holds up. But a 4d6 plus 6, and Bertramon will be using her reaction to grant the help action to Koshiro. Bertramon has the rapid assist quality, which lets her grant the help action as a reaction. And she is supporting with her charisma. That makes this check 4d6 plus 9. A 26, immediately solid out the gate. Koshiro muses on this and receives the insight that given Devimon's darkness is based around debuffs, being afflicted by buffs should actually cancel out that aura. That is, if you were to successfully land a buff on Devimon, it would deactivate the trait. That's the case for it, but getting a successful hit from Bertramon on Devimon is going to be tricky. So we'll see about that. There's other options. Light is the specific means to counter darkness, and while buffs are an answer, you could use other means as well. Togemon's turn. Togemon is interested in trying to hit Devimon and can just, with a movement action, get lined up. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, direct hit with Needle Spray. Given that, Togemon is going to spend an energy to activate Style Gauge, and is then going to use Burn Health, lowering her HP by 6 to recover 1 energy. Mimi is going to take the Heckle action on Devimon, because Devimon is dangerous and we would like Devimon to be doing 5 less damage. Now, let's talk about Togemon's attack. Togemon's attack will be 3d6 plus 3, which is her base accuracy, plus 3 for her buffs, plus 1 for style gauge. 3d6 plus 7 to hit Devimon. That is a successful hit. So now we know that style gauge has raised to plus 2 because of light speed jabbing, which I'm going to mark down. You know what? I want to give you a cool style gauge icon. What is the cool icon for style gauge? You want to be a trophy? You want to have a cool aura? The grab? Yeah, I'm going to make the aura. Style gauge plus 2. Now then, light speed jabbing is a 2d6 plus 1 damage attack, but Togemon will, of course, spend an energy, regaining 2 health, to perform light speed jabbing as a needle spray under the mighty blow effect, which means I roll 3d6 plus 1 twice, and deal a total of 12 damage, reduced by Devimon's 3 armor, to 9, bringing us down to 89 HP. Excellent work, Togemon. That was her move and attack action. There's not a lot else she can do right now. Mimi is going to move 1, 2, 3 to 1, 2, 3 to stay behind everyone, and is also going to take the guard action for herself. Let's make sure I remember that's a 3. Great opening turn from Togemon, getting buff. Ikakumon hates this. Slow 3, can't do anything, cannot leave this area, is stuck next to Devimon. There is one specific thing Ikakumon can do while stuck next to someone, and that is Horn Attack EX. Joe is going to perform the direct action, granting 2 buffs. That brings us down to 1 debuff instead of 3. Now, Ikakumon's Horn Attack EX is 3d6 plus 5 plus 3. 3d6 plus 8 to hit. That is indeed a hit. We have 1 debuff, so the damage will be 1 less. Damage is 2d6 plus 3. So this is 2d6 plus 2 damage. 13, 3 armor, 10 damage, 79 HP. Alright. Ikakumon has done a hit that has finished all of its actions, no longer slowed at the end of its turn. Kabuterimon's slow is also over. Now it is Birdramon. Birdramon is going to use... Birdramon is going to move. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is going to spend another energy on Red Sun to target all allies. 3 buffs for Kabuterimon. Kabuterimon standing still. 3 buffs for Ikakumon. Ikakumon has been pushed backwards. 3 buffs for Togemon. Togemon has been pushed forward. Joe further into the woods. Koshiro towards the woods. Actually, Koshiro would be in this direction. Sora also in this direction. Mimi also in this direction. That is a move. Is that a 3 move or a 4 move? It's too late for me to go back. I don't know where Birdramon was, so I'm just going to say that's all of Berdramon's movement, though she does regain her reaction. Sora will again use guard and is going to try and remain in a position to look after the others. Devimon, again, is going to move to get maximum adjacency here. Cannot get to Ikakumon because of this positioning, so is instead going to target Ikakumon with come hither. And Togemon is going to use her intercede on that, because she wants to get pulled into adjacency with Devimon, which further blocks off the pulling of Ikakumon. Unfortunately, this takes away her buffs, but she will do her best. Devimon is going to use Knight's Cloak, which will target all adjacent allies for 3d6 plus 6. Successfully targeting Kabuterimon and Togemon both, inflicting slow 3, stripping away your stripping away your buffs, and applying debuffs to you. Did not get Ikakumon, which is frustrating. From this, Devimon will now activate Thorns of Shadow. This is a damaging melee attack, but it is an aura-based attack, so I'm going to give you an aura as well now. The aura means that if your turn ends and you are still adjacent to Devimon, you are going to take damage. In this way, Devimon's Knight's Cloak and Thorns of Shadow moves are its personality and cruelty, really. Devimon makes you slow so you can't get away from it, then activates its aura saying, you are stuck here, I'm not going to damage you immediately, I'm going to make you be forced to remain adjacent to me so you take the damage. It's the cruelty of Devimon, and I think it's a very good example of demonstrating character through attacks. I could, of course, have made Thorns of Shadow a burst attack, which would have immediately dealt 2d6 plus 3 to each of them, but I chose to use aura, and that is fine. That was a move, a light attack, a second light attack, an attack. Devimon's turn has ended. The debuffs fade away at the end of its turn. That's the other part of aura. Because it's a delayed activation, you don't have to deal with this. Now then, Kabuterimon. Is stuck with adjacency. Cannot move because of slow. Is going to try for a high-grade tactic. Koshiro will use a complex action to direct Kabuterimon. Koshiro's direct is worth 7. That makes this check from Kabuterimon 3d6 plus 10, which successfully hits, and this afflicts Devimon with Electric Storm, 2d6 damage, and the Taunt effect. Uh, 2 points of damage. Now, the part about Taunt is special. What Taunt means is that if Devimon targets anyone but Kabuterimon with an attack until the end of its next turn, it will have disadvantage on that. Unfortunately, Devimon also has advantage on all checks, so this is of questionable worth, but I don't blame Kabuterimon for taking this action. The other action Kabuterimon will take, you are unable to guard, so I will remove your guard from you and Ikakumon, who is about to leave ASAP. Kabuterimon is going to use a clash check. This is a strength-based check, 3d6 plus 4. Of middling quality. Devimon will oppose with a manipulate check. However, because Devimon has advantage on all checks, this is a 3d6 plus 7 all the same. Unfortunately, that clash failed. Kabuterimon was attempting to push Devimon away, which would have ideally stopped the aura from getting him, but it didn't. Aura triggers, targeting Kabuterimon, dealing 2d6 plus 3 damage. 9 damage, reduced by 3 armor to 6, 14, but because of Pale Black Digicore, That deals 3 impact damage back to Devimon. This also afflicts Carboterimon with debuff 3. But the slow is gone, for whatever that matters. Togemon is up. Regains her reaction. Mimi is going to lead by taking the scan action to learn the second of Devimon's traits. A powerful darkness pulses in Devimon's chest, energizing this Digimon. Can you shatter it? Can you target Devimon's Heart of Darkness? Yes. If you take +1 disadvantage, I will let you hit that. As it stands right now, that's a little tricky for Togemon, but if she builds up her style gauge some more successfully, that could change. Mimi is going to heckle Devimon to reduce the damage potentially about to be done to Togemon. And Togemon is now going to use Lightspeed Jabbing, which is not the move she used before. She used Needle Spray before. Now it is Lightspeed Jabbing. This check will be 3d6 plus 3 plus 2. 3d6 plus 5. Huh. That's a problem. No, it's not a problem. Togemon is going to actually use an action first. She is going to use a clash check. Togemon's clash, thanks to prodigious strength, is 4d6 plus 5. 18. Devimon counters with a manipulate, 3d6 plus 7. Fails. Togemon will use this clash check to pressure, gaining +1 advantage to her check, meaning I can once again roll 4d6 plus 5, this time for Lightspeed Jabbing. Hit. Wasn't necessary, but better safe than sorry. Style gauge increases by 1 because Lightspeed Jabbing was used. And Togemon will spend an energy, regaining 2 health, to use Mighty Blow for 3d6 plus 3 damage twice. The higher result is 12, 3 armor, 9 damage, 65 HP. Togemon will then use her reaction. Oh wait, 3 less damage because of the debuffs, 68. Almost, but not quite. Alright, Togemon, you no longer have your debuffs. Your aura has increased to 3. You've just used your reaction. This check will be 2d6 plus 6. It's possible to hit 16 on that, but unlikely. Yeah, unfortunately not. Oh well, Togemon's turn ends, and she is targeted by Devimon's aura. Because of Taunt, this check will be 3d6 plus 6. Unfortunately, still hitting and dealing 2d6 plus 3 damage. 6 damage, 1 damage because of Heckler, 1 point of damage, but unfortunately still debuff 3. Devimon's debuffs are gone. That is Togemon's turn entirely. And Mimi's as well. Ikakumon. Buddy, what are we gonna do about this? I have established already that Birdramon is in the air, so I would let Ikakumon move underneath her. So 1, 2, 3. Is this far enough to be 5? Yes. Ikakumon has moved 5, which will allow Ikakumon to make an attack check using Harpoon Tornado. Thanks to these 3 buffs, that check will be 3d6 plus 8, but advantage because of Sniper, 4d6 plus 8. Yes, absolutely. I should have specified this as an attack on the Heart of Darkness. I didn't say it out loud though, so that's my problem to deal with. 2d6 plus 1 damage dealt. Damn, that would have taken it out too. 7 damage because of armor, bringing us down to 59 HP. That is Ikakumon's turn. Joe is going to... Ideally, Joe would move up to Devimon so that he can scan as well. But that is so out of character for him that I can't let him do this. Joe is going to take the guard action and hang back. Sorry, folks. Joe does not want to get close to Devimon. Valid, honestly. Berdramon's turn. Berdramon has Reach 5 on Devimon. And so is going to target in the air over Ikakumon, Togemon, and Reach 5, huh? Just out of reach for Red Sun. I was hoping to get that buff targeting Devimon as well. Oh wait, we still have Red Energy for Red Sun. Yeah, buffs for everyone. Boop. Counter out yours. Counter out yours. 3 for you. Move, 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 move. All of you go into the forest. We don't want to pull Togemon back because that will give space for Devimon to move in on the Digimon. These two are acting as a wall, preventing Devimon from getting through to Ikakumon right now with their excellent positioning. So Berdramon is just going to go for a Meteor Wing. This check will be 4d6 because of enhanced buff, plus 3, plus 1. 4d6 plus 4. Sora will use her direct action here for Berdramon, raising this up to 4d6 plus 6. 23 to hit. Berdramon deals 2d6 damage with Meteor Wing. 5, 3 armor, 2 points of damage, 57. That is Berdramon and Sora's turn. Devimon is back at it again. Still technically taunted until the end of its turn, which is annoying. Kabuterimon, you're annoying. So Devimon is going to target Kabuterimon with a clash check. This will be 4d6 plus 7. Kabuterimon will vainly resist with a 2d6 plus 4. That's nothing. Devimon will then use another action to hit Kabuterimon with the throw action, which means you are going on a trip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Really? Brutal. Kabuterimon is thrown 6, takes 6 impact damage, and falls down here amongst this difficult terrain, which is going to make it very difficult to get back. That was 2 actions on Devimon's part. Its next action will be to target Ikakumon with the free action, Come Hither. So that is 3d6 plus 6 because taunted. Misses. Unfortunate. With only 1 attack of worth left on it, Devimon is going to forego the aura quality and directly target Togemon with Thorns of Shadow. So this will be a check of 3d6 plus 6 to hit Togemon. Another miss. Terrible turn for Devimon. Just god-awful. That taunt actually really made a genuine difference. Great tanking, Kabuterimon. Taunt is over. It is Kabuterimon's turn again. This environment is difficult terrain, which is a problem for Kabuterimon. Let's see. Even if I use Guardian Stance, this is going to be a problem. So ultimately, Kabuterimon has to take a risk it for the biscuit approach here to get back into the battlefield. Well, allies are doing well right now. Yeah, I'm gonna take a gamble here. 1 energy spent to recover 6 HP. And Kabuterimon is going to move. Its movement is 3. It takes 2 points of movement to move 1 unit here across this difficult terrain. Wait a second, you can fly. Kabuterimon specifically has the flyer quality. So actually, 1, 2, 3. Just flies back up. Out of position to aid allies, but we can affect that with a spending an energy to activate Guardian Stance as a free action. I'll just put the shield here to say Guardian Stance is up. As a reminder, Guardian Stance, until the beginning of your next turn, treat your movement stat as being doubled for determining intercede range. That's a risky play, but it's a play being made. Koshiro is going to make some moves towards Devimon. Using the forest as cover, is going to take the dash action and just get a actually, no. Just a simple... Where did you start from, buddy? Here? 1, 2, 3. Forest as cover. Takes the scan action, targeting Devimon to learn the final of Devimon's 3 traits. Devimon is mighty and attacks without relent. Give everything you have to drain this titan of an opponent's energy. What could that mean? Figure it out. I know. Togemon, with this style gauge and no debuffs, is going to go for that Heart of Darkness. That means we'll be taking disadvantage on this check to hit. Mimi uses a simple action to direct Togemon, granting +2 buffs. That is 3d6 + 8 naturally, thanks to the style gauge. Oof. That still requires a 2d6 to result in an 8. No, Togemon's gonna play this cautious and try and get style gauge built up to +4 for the most odds possible. We'll still take those buffs from Mimi, so this check will be 3d6 + 8 to hit. Successful, and I'm glad I didn't aim for this body part. Will hold back 1 point of energy to try and use Mighty Blow on the Heart of Darkness. So because of that, we are using Coconut Upper, the third and final of Togemon's attacks. This deals 2d6 + 2 damage. 12, 3 armor, 9 damage, 48 HP. And I will mark style gauge as being up to 4. Togemon also still has her reaction, so she uses her reaction here. The second impact, 2d6 + 7. Fails. We tried. Mimi heckles Devimon because that's what she does. She is insulting this giant demon and getting away with it. Bless her. Togemon still has an action. And is going to make another clash check. So that will be 4d6 + 5. Opposed by 3d6 + 7. Fantastic. And uses the trip action, which halves Devimon's movement until the end of its next turn. Could work, Togemon. Ikakumon is in position to shell. Ikakumon spends an energy to use a light attack action with the damage modifier, uses Concussion Rain, Sniper, boosts that check to 3d6 + 8. That's a hit. Using up these buffs. Joe is going to use the direct action from where he is. His guard is over. To grant +2. So Harpoon Tornado will be 4d6 + 7. Both are hits. Both deal 2d6 plus 1 damage. 12 and 13. Good God, Ikakumon. 9 damage. And 10 damage. Truly beating the heck out of Devimon. Alright. Great turn on these guys' parts. Birdramon. Seeing this position and wanting to get ahead of the situation is going to go for a risky move. He's going to move 1, 2, 3 and four. Wait, there's no good positioning for Birdramon, is there? I was really hoping to like safely block off Ikakumon and also prevent Devimon from repositioning. I think she's just gonna head here and cut off Ikakumon. Well, here specifically. That way Ikakumon can't be pulled through. Now, she has moved. She's going to target Devimon with Red Sun. Sora is going to use Direct, giving 2 buffs. This check for Red Sun will be 3d6 plus 3 plus Sora's buffs for 5. 3d6 plus 5 fails to hit Devimon. Alas, no such luck. Devimon's turn. Is going to move 1, 2, adjacent to as many targets as possible. Is going to use Come Hither, targeting Kabuterimon. This check will be interceded by Birdramon using her reaction. Birdramon moves adjacent, intercedes that, preventing Kabuterimon from getting pulled into melee. Devimon, more than a little salty about that, is really wants to do damage to lots of people at once. But the debuffs are causing it some issues. Devimon, what's the most aggressive and mean thing you can do here? You have 2 actions. You are being hassled and beaten to hell by some really good rolls. I've run this test a few times, and Devimon has really beat the hell out of this group sometimes. And now when I make my show-off video, it's like, no, actually, they're gonna keenly take it down. Should have used Knight's Cloak first, because then Birdramon couldn't intercede. Should have used Knight's Cloak, then pulled in Kabuterimon with Come Hither. Let's see. Well, that did inflict debuff 3 at least. How far did Devimon move? 1, 2. Devimon continues its movement by lifting into the air and flying and moving 2 more to be over everyone else. Is then going to use Knight's Cloak, which is going to be 3d6 plus 6 for its check. Successfully applying slow through. Wait, you were slowed. Nope, Devimon cannot do that because Devimon doesn't have enough movement. It had 3 movement available. It moved twice. It can't move it further because of the trip from Togemon. Absolutely ruined. is going to use its check here, putting slow 3 just onto these two alone. Which does inflict debuff 3 successfully. And is then going to put up Thorns of Shadow to try and hit these guys with aura-based attacks. That ends Devimon's turn. Beginning Kabuterimon's. Koshiro was really hoping to do a Digivice Light trick to banish Devimon's first trait, because I would allow a human to perform a complex action adjacent to Devimon to deactivate that trait. However, Koshiro is not going to leave these woods, because that's the smart thing to do. So instead, going to use Direct to support Kabuterimon, who is going to use Electroshocker, targeting Devimon, hitting Devimon, 6 damage, and the taunt condition again. And having done that, Kabuterimon is going to use the Guardian Stance action again, so it can fly to anyone's side. Togemon is going for that Heart of Darkness this time. Mimi buffs to 1 debuff. Heckles Devimon. And is going to use... Okay. This check is with disadvantage. So it's 2d6 plus 3 plus 7. 2d6 plus 7. The goal is to hit a 16. Damn it. Togemon attempted a Lightspeed jabbing to hit Devimon's Heart of Darkness. Failed that. Doesn't have a lot else she can do here. I was about to have move to body block for a Kakumon, but will not move away from Mimi. So Togemon is going to use a Clash action again. This will be 4d6 plus 5, opposed by 3d6 plus 7. And is then going to use the Shift action, which lets you move someone 1 unit in any direction, to say, hey, go over here. Absolutely devastating. This is the worst thing that's ever happened to Devimon. Okay. Togemon's turn is over. Her aura is gone. Style gauge is complete. Ikakumon is also going to take a stab at that Heart of Darkness. This check will be 2d6 plus Joe is supporting, 2d6 plus 7. This is with Harpoon Tornado. Misses, and is then going to spend an energy for a 2d6 plus 5 to hit Devimon himself. Also misses. Terrible round. I'm getting overconfident and arrogant, and Devimon's going to do some real damage because of that. Birdramon is going to target Togemon and Kakumon with Red Sun. Pull Togemon back in again. Push a Kakumon out. And then is going to target Devimon with 4d6 plus Sora is directing, 4d6 plus 6 for Meteor Strike, Meteor Wing. Yep. 2d6 minus 3 damage for 3 armor, 1 point of damage. But you know, damage is damage is damage. Devimon, mad as hell, still taunted, did not get to damage anyone. Targets Ikakumon with Come Hither, which Birdramon will use her reaction to intercede for and get pulled in again. Targets Birdramon with a clash check. Birdramon is going to attempt to oppose in 3d6 plus 3 charisma. Not happening. So that was a light attack, flash check, throw action. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 damage to Birdramon. And is then going to use terrible positioning to try and get people with Wings of Evil, which only has a reach of 3. Going to use Hand of Death to try and get Kabuterimon. Just must get this guy. 4d6 plus 6 hits, deals 2d6 plus 3 damage. 6 points of damage, taking your armor down to your health down to 8, and pull 3. 1, 2. That is all of Devimon's actions. Kabuterimon is here to ruin things for you once again. Is going to open with a clash check, 3d6 plus 4. Opposed by a 3d6 plus 7, which you definitely will not lose, or will lose, so it doesn't get the benefit of the clash. And is then going to, with Koshiro's direct action, do a 3d6 plus 10 check to deal 2d6 damage, 3, and inflict taunt again on Devimon. Merciless. Oh wait, you were debuffed because you did successfully get hit by an attack. You have debuff 3 on you, and you have debuff 3 on you. So you are actually 3 health higher than you were. Or rather, debuff 3 has been spent, so the attack only did 1 damage. So this should be 21. Regrettable. But taunted. Togemon doesn't have style gauge going on. Does have buffs. Given Devimon's flagging health, the traits are not coming into play as much as I wanted here. I'll talk about this in a retrospective. But Togemon is going to go for a outright attack. 3d6 plus 6 to hit. Successfully hits with Lightspeed Jabbing and spends an energy for Mighty Blow. 3d6 plus 3 twice. 16, 3 armor, 13 damage, 8 health. Followed by Mimi confidently moved up to Togemon beforehand, held a reaction to direct, uses that reaction as a simple action to grant 2 buffs now, which is why my check for second impact will be 2d6 plus 5. Does not hit. Again, very sad. Ikakumon. Still not benefiting from being in good position, so it's just going to move out 1. And is then going to make a check of 4d6 plus 8. And 2d6 plus 1 damage. 4 damage. Okay, Joe is just gonna head through the forest up to join Koshiro and will guard along the way. Bertramon regains her reaction, flies up a little, flies forward a little, gets within 3 of her allies and hits them both with Red Sun. And that's her turn. Sora also going to move up with Koshiro and guard. Devamon. Awful time. Bad. No good. Kabuterimon's blocking is causing too many problems, which is why we're going to get really wild on Kabuterimon. First, we are making a clash check, 4d6 plus 7. Kabuterimon opposes with a 2d6 plus 4. Bergramon will support this, raising it to 2d6 plus 7 using her reaction. 2d6 plus 7. Success! Devamon's clash check fails. Terrible. Devamon uses Knight's Cloak. Actually, Devamon tries to hit Bergramon with a Come Hither, and Kabuterimon intercedes that just to get in the way, ruining the life of... You know, I probably could have avoided interceding that because it would have been a check of 2d6 because of taunt and light action, but that's okay. I want to bully this Devamon more than I want to be optimal in my movements. You have used a flash action and your free light attack. You have 2 actions left. Is going to use Knight's Cloak again, which will be a 2d6 plus 6, successfully afflicting Togemon and Kabuterimon with Slow 3 and Debuff 3. And will then use Thorns of Shadow to again threaten with an aura. Kabuterimon is going to try and burn Devamon down. Thanks to Koshiro's direct action, 3 debuffs become 4 buffs for a check of 3d6 plus 7. Failing to hit. I should have clashed first. And is then going to... use a clash check here, 3d6 plus 4. Opposed by 3d6 plus 7. This isn't happening. Kabuterimon has a terrible turn. Togemon. Oh, Kabuterimon has been targeted. Did not successfully put on Taunt. Kabuterimon has been targeted by the aura. 4d6 plus 6. 2d6 plus 3. 3 damage, but 3 impact damage reflected on Devamon. Togemon's turn. Thanks to Mimi's direct action, Togemon is attacking with 3d6 plus 5 to hit. Misses. Should have clashed first. That was a mistake on my part. Is going to clash now. I'm getting hasty in this 1 HP left situation. Opposed by 3d6 plus 7. Literally can't get high enough to stop this. And uses the shift action to push Devamon up this way. Ikakumon does have line of sight for a 6 range attack. This will be 4d6 plus 8 to hit. And there it is, 2d6 plus 1 damage. Thus, Devimon is brought down to 0 health in what was, I'm going to admit, maybe a little less intense than I was expecting. Let's talk about this a little. I'm glad this video is going to be around an hour. There's a couple of changes that could have been made here. The aura usage, while in character, meant that a lot of people got away from damage. There was a lot of damage that could have been spread around with a burst, but at the same time, that would have put Devimon under more risk of Kabutarimon's taunt and Mimi's heckle, depriving it of the ability to knock folks out. There's some questions here. Also, regrettably, none of the traits got engaged with, which is causing me a little bit of disheartening. There's a couple of thoughts here. The traits maybe could have been built stronger, or Devimon's attacks could have been built more fearsome to take better advantage of these traits. The +1 advantage was so that Devimon would be more successful in clash checks to resist being pushed around and preserve its aura, but thanks to her prodigious strength, Togemon still successfully shoved Devimon up and down the way. There was also the option of targeting the human characters, which would have forced the Digimon to intercede a lot more, and that would have spread around damage. My Wings of Evil attack, which is a ranged missile attack, could have easily targeted the humans and forced the Digimon into unhappy positions. Though, for the most part, I still want to try and avoid directly targeting humans when it comes to combat. Sora, why is your name slightly lower than Koshiro's? Guess her icon size was slightly off. Devimon's attacks also could have been a little bit better. If I'd chosen Burst instead of Aura for Thorns of Shadow, I probably would have done a lot more damage. This is a case of growing pains, I feel like. What you're seeing is probably worth seeing for the sake of saying, hey, here's how battles can go. Sometimes they go really smoothly. I want to say I've also run tests with this similar situation, where at the end of it, Kabutarimon and Birdramon were both out, Togemon and Kakumon were both on low health. There's more number variability than perhaps is ideal, but sometimes the fight goes your way and sometimes it doesn't, and I think that's worth it, at least in this early stage for testing. Now that the release document is available, showing us the method of building the NPCs, I'd like to also open this up to other people who may want to play this system. I think, I've spent enough time working on this that I feel like there's potential in here. It certainly needs refinement. This is the first release of it. But I think it's got legs, and I'm going to keep using it with my friends, and if you ever happen to use it, please let me know. Alright, that's this video completed and the combat series completed. I want to thank my buddy Cad, who did the thumbnails for this, as well as the character build episode. And yeah, you can check the links below this video for access to the Google Drive, which will have the NPC builder in it. And in future, I hope to also release an actual GM's guide, which will have further information on other mechanics, such as potential for DNA digivolution and the like. But getting off the ground, getting it started, getting these NPC combat scenarios set up mattered most. And we did. Alright, thanks for watching. That's it. Bye!